show tonight because we got some important information to cover, and we're doing a little bit different style show tonight. Okay, a lot of people have questions as to what's going on, what caused the fires down there in Southern California, and there's some stuff that we need to address and talk about here. Okay, so we're just gonna get started here really quick. Here's your loop for today. January 7th, 1/7/25. Okay, here's the loop plan. And while this is playing, loading up, I'd like to thank you guys for taking a moment of your time to be a part of this precious family. Okay, there's a lot going on and a lot of other live streams, so I don't mind if you watch this later because there's a lot of important stuff going on at this moment. So this is just going to be about an hour long stream, really quick on what's going on here. So far, here's your activity around the sun today. All right, look at this huge, big, widespread, and you can clearly see the little satellite moon accompanying that. We'll cover this more in detail on tomorrow's show. I want to get into what's causing our activity, our fires. Okay, so we have solar activity that comes off the sun. All right, it affects our planet. We get we start getting upticks in our solar flux indice. We start absorbing more energy from the sun. We have sunspot numbers, they're down 41 right now just because we had a big event with a bunch of moons and a big uh, object that induced them. Okay, we also have activity going into tomorrow. We'll probably cover some of that maybe later. We'll see here. Our beta gamma delta is stable right now. Our KP is at 4. All right, so we're going back up. We're absorbing a little more energy now. Okay, we're gonna keep going. All right, let's get on over here to null school. All right, now what I got set up here, just really quick here. All right, there we go. All right, let me take the winds off. First of all, before I take the winds off, we have two primary factors going on with this storm. First of all, the winds. Last night we talked about the high wind potential of 100-mile-an-hour plus Santa Ana winds going through that area. Right there, that should have alerted everybody as to the prospect of fires going on in that area. All right, all it takes is one power line to knock a tree or something like that too. All right, so or any kind of embers from somebody's burn pit could stir it up, or there could be other factors that stir it up as well. Now, last night we were over here, we were talking about our thermal heat anomaly that's encroached in this area, and it has really grown in the last day here. Very decent size in the last couple of days, really. Okay, and we were talking about earthquake potential in this area. Now let's come over here really quick. I'm talking about this I-shaped structure right here that comes out, goes in, matches up with the plate boundary, runs down this, and then comes back around. So this I-shaped structure right there, okay, and I was calling for possible earthquakes out here on this side of the plate, out here in the water. Well, do you see many earthquakes? They're all very small, and they're very well, just widespread, but they're small. They're 1.6s. There's not a lot of pressure being relieved in this area via earthquakes. It's being vented mainly by SO2 here because check it out. We have an SO2 emission site right there on our structure. Okay, our structure comes in right at this bay. Last time when we saw an uptick in pressure, we saw fires here in Malibu. Well, now we're seeing them right over here on this side of the structure, and they're running all along the hills right along this region. Okay, and now you get spot fires in the middle that are popping up, and now winds are blowing, embers are blowing, and now it's just spreading fires all across this whole region, or all across this whole region right here. Okay, and what's scary about this, we need to pray for the people in this region because at any moment, no matter where you are now, there could be a spot fire jump up at your house, right next to you or whatever in this region. Okay, So very densely populated, and it's just hopping from, it's very random. Okay. So there's no set like structure except for along the edges here where you see it flaring up all along through that region. Okay. But now we have these spot fires that anywhere could pop up. So it's very scary for these people in this area right now. And there's a lot of fear going on. There's a lot of praying going on, a lot of cursing going on as well. But we need to pray for the people in this region right now because they're under the gun. Okay. And we got SO2, very good, strong emission site coming out right there at that area, right on the edge where our fire is. Okay. And usually we go up here, we do the SO2 report. Let me pull back a little bit. There's your country divided here. And then we check in up here at Canada for fires, any kind of fire activity going on at these SO2 emission sites. And we'd seen some the last couple of days, and there's still activity. Let me get a little bit better here. Still a little bit of activity going on up here in Canada. Let me just go back about 8 hours. There we go. So about 8 hours ago, right when this started, there were fires up in Canada all around these SO2 emission sites. And then that's when, look, there was another fire here at this SO2 emission site. Okay. And then look down here. That's when our fire started, right about here. Okay, and there's some other ones kind of creeping along up here. Stuff going up around by Tahoe and stuff too. Watch out for fire activity around the Bay Area possibly. Okay, and now we're going to go, you see why. Okay, and there's your new SO2 plume growing in that eye-shaped structure right there on the edge of it. And then we come to the sea surface temperature anomalies for now. And you can see there's your heat plume that's pushed in underneath the land here. Okay, so you got pressure pushing in under the land. You got an SO2 plume right here. Okay, and then you got your structure, your like fault type structure that comes in through here. Let me zoom in just right from like these islands out here, coming into the land, making contact with the land right here. Last time it was right up here on this side of the structure that we saw the fires in Malibu. This time it's right along the edge of the structure right here. Boom, all the way through here. Okay, and then you're also seeing stuff pop up in the middle. What was it, Pasadena and stuff. And with the winds blowing the way they are, it's taking a lot of this stuff up the coast and spreading the fire. Okay, so we have contributing factors, mainly the wind. Let me put the wind back on here because we have very strong winds right now. These Santa Anas, they're coming from the backside, coming right through that area, right through the hot spot. So you see the hot spot, add wind, and surprise, there's a fire there. Multiple fires, okay? And the sad part about this is they're running out of water. They're running out of resources. I'm listening to the scanner, and there are engines calling for backup and for help, and they just don't have the resources to send them. So this is going to be a long, scary night in LA and in this area. As these winds increase through the nighttime, we're talking 100-mile-an-hour winds possibly in this area. Hello, you guys. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by here. I know there's a lot going on. So anyways, this can be some of the contributing factor is this 100-mile-an-hour wind. I mean, that's just big, any kind of spark and then it's on. All it takes is one little spot fire, and then the embers spread. We're seeing an ember type event where the wind velocity is driving embers all across this whole region and spreading it all over the place and making spot fires just here, there, here, all over the place here in the LA basin. Okay, this heat plume is still there. Okay, let me take the winds off there. Okay, and it's grown in size. So we might still entertain the fire conditions as long as the winds still are kicking up. And then we could also see earthquake activity at the same time. I've seen some people in the chat rooms. Oh, God, what people are saying in the chat rooms. But I've seen some people saying, well, when's the earthquake hit? And I was, no joke, it could hit, we could see an earthquake, mid-range 5 to a 6 or something happen at the same time here, because we have this big old inundation of heat. There's heat escaping through the ocean floor here because pressure underneath this region is intensifying. Okay, and we've seen it push in before, start fires here in Malibu a couple weeks ago, and then it receded and retracted. All the earthquake and fire activity died down. Now we see a new influx in this area, and this is all because the sun sent us a bunch of energy. It went down to the core heated up and swelled, then the magma heats up and swells, and then it starts to push to the surface. And here we are up at the Juan de Fuca up here. Let's go check our earthquake activity just really quick up there. We've seen some 2.7s, 2.5. What's the biggest here? Another 2.5. Okay, so we've seen a little activity here, scrubbing energy there. We've seen some activity over here at Yarrington, scrubbing energy too. Okay, so both of these areas have had activity today. This little region up here kind of coming to life too at this little lake. I want to make point out just a couple other things here. You guys' prayers are the most powerful. So let's send out some prayers tonight, you guys. Here we are at the foot of Rainier with an earthquake right there, sign of pressure down below. Here's the top of Mount St. Helens with a couple of quakes right there. Okay, so that's an indication of pressure down below. Some at the foot of Mount St. Helens there. Okay, so we're seeing pressure in the region and it's pushing inland, and you're seeing earthquake activity at volcanic sites at Fulcrum Point, the geysers. Okay, what I wanted to do here also is, it is all magnitude. Okay, good. I was going to put it on all magnitude, but it already is. Now, very quiet is earthquakes along the San Andreas here, okay? And we have this temperature that's pushed into that area. It's kind of receded now. It's more intense down here than it is along the coast. It was more intense along here yesterday, and this seems to have kind of receded while this is intensified. And I believe that's what's kind of causing our fires. Definitely the wind, okay, because wind fans the flames. It could have been one spot fire and they could have jumped on it and put it out right away if it weren't for the darn wind at 100 miles an hour driving this stuff, spreading it all over, causing this ember type dispersion inferno effect that's just like a shotgun blast, and it's like very widespread, very random. So let me take you back over here really quick. A lot of this area here, very densely populated. Okay, so it just jumps from house to neighborhood, climbs up these mountains, goes over, jumps over to here. Okay, it's been making its way up through to up towards Malibu now, up here towards Malibu. Okay, so all this region right here under the gun with fires because oh, there's Misty. There you are. I meant to give you a wrench. Didn't you get yours? I'll get you another wrench here in a second. Anyways, this is what I wanted to talk about and why we're starting to see all the activity there, because of our heat anomaly that's pushed into the region and our high winds that are dry coming off the backside. Now let's take a peek at why we're having these kind of winds. Let's pull back and look at our thermal structure. Well. Look at the culprit out here, huh? You see how the power of this rotation is pulling wind down here into it. This is like an inflow. Okay, this is air that's getting sucked into this thing, and it's rotating too. Look, there's a small rotation right here. So we got this wind that's coming down, being pulled into this. Okay, we got it rotating, coming over and down, and that's what's causing this other wind to come backside of the Sierras and then come whipping around out of like southern Nevada and then come across Southern California right here, creating your Santa Anas. Okay, usually we don't have this kind of activity in the wintertime, Santa Anas and firestorms in Southern California in the middle of winter. Well, we are seeing this because of, well, we got some issues going on the ocean floor. Okay, and you can see your hot air rising, cold air rushing in to replace it, and how it's causing the wind effects. Okay, and the side effects of this are your Santa Anas way over here. Okay, side effects from this, because this whole vortex is pulling air here. You got this one rotating this way, contributing to it. So it's rotating stuff down this way, causing winds to come back around the backside of the Sierras and then across the LA basin right there, right over our hot spot. It's like you already got hot rocks and you got wood and you got wind, and all it takes is some of those rocks to heat up hot enough to spark a little fire. You get a SO2 emission out of that region. Spewing magma, or not spewing magma, but spewing SO2 at thousands of degrees, it could spark a fire very easily. And you see that it's right at the matching point where our thermal meets the land, meets the SO2, right on the fault structure. I'm sure they will find other reasons for the fire, and they'll be telling you it was this or that, but I see other indicators that we always look at these indicators, especially like up in Canada and stuff like that, right? Well, the same can happen down here. And this is what happened last time we saw an uptick in pressure and we saw one of these heat plumes come into that region. All right, so basically kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight was just about that. Okay, and volcanic activity that's upticking around the world, a little uptick in earthquake activity. All right, but we have this new region right here. Our whole ice structure is all lit up with red and pressure underneath it, and we're having this huge firestorm. Now they're losing electricity. They're having all kinds of problems. People tried to evacuate and abandon their cars on the road. I could just see the person in the lead car blocked the road, and it's just, a lot of people panic. They don't think clearly. All right, so you're starting to see a lot of desperation happening. There's fire departments running out of resources and stuff. So pray for these people in this area. Give them strength and courage while they go through their adversity. You can't pray the fire away. You can't pray the winds away, but you can pray for these people to find strength and hope and courage. There's a lot of heroic acts going on tonight. A lot of people rescuing people. Okay, a lot of people. I've seen some independent streamers out there that actually stumbled across incidents where they could help. So even though there's a lot of adversity going on, there is also a lot of acts of heroism going on right now. There are a lot of people that are praying for the first time right now, too. Okay, all kinds of prayers and screams and pleads for just all kinds of stuff racing around right now. Okay, and it's a kind of a wake-up call for this region right now and the people in this area. So I see a lot of people in the chat, oh, they're all millionaires, they can afford to rebuild their homes and stuff. No, these people are losing their livelihoods. For them, their world's over. There probably won't be time to rebuild in this area, so even if they do have the money to rebuild, they're losing all their their heirlooms, their pictures, sentimental value, stuff like that. So a lot of tragedy, a lot of heartbreak going on in this region right now. Even first responders are getting injured. getting their eyes burnt with, embers blowing in their eyes and people getting injured and hurt. So this is a very desperate situation. And this family, your prayers have so much power. This family does. I can guarantee you that much. I'm not telling you that everybody else's prayers suck, but I am telling you that this family has supernatural abilities that you guys can pray for strength for these people. Okay, even if they don't sense it, the Lord does. Okay, so a lot of desperation going on, a lot of unanswered questions. I see a lot of in the chat rooms. What started it? What started it? What started it? What started it? Well, it doesn't matter really what started it. It's that it's happening and that we have this kind of event going on right here. All right, with an SO2 emission site right there in those mountains along the foothills. All right. And last night I was showing you, we talked about the wind emergency in this region. And then we talked about this plume pushing in here too. I didn't mention fires. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't happen, but unfortunately, here we go. So it's going to be a long night for people in this region. Pray for them. There are people trapped in buildings right now with first responders breaking down doors, trying to save people in apartment complexes. Houses are, one house here and the one house here, one over there. So it's not like it's one section. It's blossoming and scattering all over the place, making it very difficult for first responders. They're scattered, they're spread thin, and now they're running out of water, resources, patience, cursing at each other on the radios. Another thing I noticed here, I'm going to mention, I used to do CB radio back when I was a kid. And if you have a very powerful amplifier, you can broadcast over somebody else, and we call it stepping on them. Okay, you can step on somebody else's broadcast and nullify theirs if you have more wattage. Somebody is stepping on the firefighters' communications. Right when they go to give an address, there is somebody who is stepping on the firefighters' communication, blocking out addresses, blocking out street names, to where these firefighters now have to call each other on a cell phone because they can't use their walkie-talkies. So there's some shenanigans going on as far as communications in this region too. Okay, so just everybody on high alert. Be vigilant. If you're in these regions, get out of there. I mean, there's mandatory evacuations all up and down the coast already. So it's kind of too little too late. We should have had mandatory evacuations, early this morning before it even started and gotten a big head start on this. But unfortunately, in this day and age, it's reactionary, not precautionary. So it's not until the fire starts that we all react. It's, we could have taken precautions way ahead of time and been like, hey, we see heat creeping in this area, matching this wind event. We better prepare to, get people out of this region right along that zone, right along that ice structure, especially if we see an SO2 plume, pop up. That should be a sure indicator for these firefighters. They should be following these SO2 emission sites. I don't know what they were taught in school or who taught who or what, but they should be monitoring this kind of activity because these emissions come out of the ground so hot and spark fires. Okay. And it could have been man-made, could have been man-started. Any little spark in that wind is and it's over. So with that wind, it's kind of unavoidable. And then you get stuff like this enhancing activity in the region. And our quakes are really low in this area. There's a lot of pressure under there, and we're not seeing relief via earthquakes. So we're seeing it via SO2 emission, the fire, that way. Okay. But if it's not enough and pressure continues to build in this area, we can see a decent sized quake added to all that as well. All right. And that would not be good. You got structures that are barely standing, they're half burnt, and then earthquake comes along and knocks them down. So let's Pray for the people in this area. Pray for first responders. If you have friends or family in that region, touch base with them. Make sure it's all good. It is biblical. It is biblical. All this is biblical. All these are from signs in the sun. All because of this activity that kicked out a couple of days ago, a few days back, and we absorbed all this energy. I showed you all the grinding on the Schumann, right? And then it stopped. Well, all that grinding now is over. The pressure, let's pretend this is the Earth right here. It's a diagram, okay? With the core, this will be the outer core, and a little smaller dot in the middle will be a center core. All right, the center core spinning in there, and then it starts to grind on the outer core. Pressure builds up. All the magma around this area heats up and swells and pushes on the underside of the crust in all directions going out. Okay, we're using this as a diagram of the Earth. Core, magma, pressure pushing up towards the surface like this, and it can't escape. So SO2 comes out, which is vaporized magma, basically at thousands of degrees, comes out of a perforation in the crust. Any kind of little channelway can find, and here we go with the channelway right here, right on the edge of our fault structure. That's the weak point, and then your fire. So let's take a really quick earthquake report here. Come over here. Very quiet in this region. No deep quakes right there. 4 or 5 at the surface. This one right here, a 5-0 at Komodo, Indonesia. The Komodo dragon right here. And then look, here's Java. A bunch of pressure came up here at Java, and we got an earthquake right here. So volcanoes and SO2 emissions, not enough here. We're also seeing earthquake activity on the flank of this volcanic ridge right there. And then today up here in China, at Tibet again, this new weak spot in the crust. Saw a bunch of mid-range 4s today. There's 4.2, 4.6. They're all at the surface here. So this area is still very volatile. Still another weak spot in the crust right there. Another pathway of least resistance right there. Also, China had a 5.7 at the surface out there, so they're rocking and rolling now. All because of a new round of pressure that's come up from below. Also here, this is a volcanic site as well. We got a 5.3 right there, 4.7, 4.5. There was one that was right there. Where'd it go? There, okay. It just dropped off the map because it's a little older than 24 hours ago, but there's a quake right there on this volcanic structure. Just a little, that was a 4.9 or a 5 at the surface. This was earlier on the 7th, earlier today. So right there we had some. That was the other day. A lot of earthquake activity around this volcanic site in the last week. All right, let me take off all those. Just one day, all magnitude. There we go. So just a little volcano activity or earthquake activity today there at the volcano. Also up here where we're seeing red and pressure build over in this region, we finally see the 4.5 at Turkey there at the surface. Also 5.3 here at Volcano Islands. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at the depth. 5.35. Hello. 5.3 down here might result in a bigger magnitude quake at the surface here. This is at Volcano Island region, but not at the actual island itself. Oh boy, looky here. Remember these structures that run along the ocean floor here? Bing, 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 bing. There's a couple more of them down here. And look, that's right where your quake is. 5.3, way down deep in there. So you might see a little quake little stronger quake at the surface right there pretty soon. Just really quick, micro quaking through that region. Actually, current activity is 3.2. So a little round of pressure under Alaska there. All right, so that's basically what I wanted to touch base with. And we can come back to this really quick. Beautiful eruption of plasma off the southwest limb this evening, beginning at 22:30. The event measured a long-duration M1 flare and flung a coronal mass ejection into space that appears to be directed away from the planet. Also, little activity going into tomorrow. We can take a peek at that here. I know you don't want to, but we're going to do it anyway. We go. All right, so, right there. What was that? Okay, your opening frame right there. Whoops. Something going on right in here. Pretty good spread right there with a couple of little moons. All right, so more solar activity. Now, whatever hits the Earth and gets absorbed. Remember, we had a proton event that happened over the course of the weekend there. Didn't really get to report on it, but I know you guys saw that happened. So we had a proton event. We absorbed a bunch of stuff. We had our G4 storm, so we took on a bunch of energy. The energy went down to the core. The core heated up, and now it finally made its way back up to the surface here, where you see your SO2 emission site spewing basically vaporized magma out of the ground right there, right along our that fault eye-shaped structure, right along the edge of it, right along the edge of this thing right here. Boom. And with the new round of pressure, we should have seen mid-range 4, something like that in this region, and we didn't. Instead, we got this ocean pressure, sea surface temperature anomaly in that region again. And like I said, last time we had it in this region, we saw a fire in the same spot. And even when the winds weren't even kicked up as much as they are this time, we still saw fire in this region right along the edge of that high structure. And now here we go again. So you guys, you know what the drill is, and basic prayers doesn't have to be all wordy and perfect or anything, just sincere. Lord, give these people hope. Lord, give these people strength to endure their adversity. Hopefully they can see through their adversity and still be able to find joy that they survived the firestorm. Okay, I haven't heard of many fatalities or anything, some injuries and stuff, but still very important. A lot of property being lost, a lot of livelihoods being changed. Okay, for them, their world is over. Their house is gone, all their property's gone. What are they going to do now? And go live homeless on the streets or something. So for a lot of these people, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Possibly their world might be over. This might have been the last straw for a lot of people. So a lot of 30,000 plus under mandatory evacuation tonight. So when you're laying in your bed and you're in your home, be thankful that you have a roof over your head that's not on fire, that you're safe and warm, and have water and food, because a lot of people tonight won't. They're getting woken up in the middle of the night with some bad news. Hey, this is the last moments in your home. Grab something and find a motel tonight. How that would be a terrible thing to have happen. So we've got to pray for these people, just because it's Hollywood and there's, a lot of nastiness that goes on in this region. There's still good people in that region too, as well. So lots of prayers going out tonight, and they're very valuable. I saw again in the chat somebody saying, "Oh, praying's just a waste of time," and boy, were they wrong. You're starting to see people's true characters in situations like this. Okay, and I want to see my family rise above the occasion and pray for these people And, if you have resources or you like to, donate money or to relief or whatever, help these people if you want to. Whatever kind of donations you would send to my channel, I don't do that. I don't take donations. But if you were to ever donate to my channel, do it, help these people or help your neighbor, help your friend or something like that, okay? And pray for these people in this region. It's going to be a long night for them. And I'm going to get going here because I still got a lot of coverage that's going on. Every address, I'm praying for every address. As soon as it comes up on the scanner, boom, praying for those people, sending angels that way. Okay, so I got a lot going on tonight. I have to get back to business, but I thought it would take a few minutes to kind of relieve you guys a little bit, make you understand or help you understand why this is happening, what's going on. It's the winds as well, okay? The wind, the wind, the wind. And then you get this activity that just makes it worse. The wind is scattering those embers. We're having a ember event. I almost named this ember attack or something like that because that's what it seems to be, an attack of embers that are just dispersing all across the city, landing in different people's front yards very randomly. One house goes up, one doesn't. One neighborhood's on fire where the next isn't. It's jumping from canyon to canyon, maybe burning one side but not this side. So it's very hit and miss. People are very scared when that happens because it could be them. If it was on one side of the street and you were on the other, you knew you're okay. But here, in this case, it's all over the place, very spotty. So everybody's under a lot of stress. They're very anxious and they need your prayers. So it does balance out in the spiritual realm. Your peace and your prayers sent in this direction will give positive results to these people. Okay, better than telling them they deserve it because they got Hollywood there. All right, so don't get caught up in that mind frame. Okay, a lot of people get sucked into the hate when this stuff type happens. Okay, so remember, there's still people, still Christians in this area too that are suffering, that need and homeless people too. Where are the homeless going to go? They're getting burned out of their little shanties in the woods too. So all kinds of suffering going on, and send prayers because the people at this family know their prayers have power. So use them. Okay. I love you guys. I miss you guys. There's no spiritual report or anything like that for tonight. You all know that this is adversity. We're watching it, and some of you are a little maybe shook by it a little bit, watching it, and seeing the devastation can be a little traumatic on your brain. So take a break from it every once in a while. If you need to, come over here. We'll pop up some images and you can take a break from all that stuff for a while. Remember, it's how plugged in you choose to be. If it gets too disturbing and it's starting to rattle you, unplug from it. Take a break. Go outside, take a walk, listen to some music, watch a movie, escape from that for a minute. Take your mind off it. Get caught up in something else. That's another reason why I kind of did the show tonight. Even though we're still talking about the subject, you're not looking at the actual flames and the homes burning and listening to the screams and stuff. Careful watching a lot of the video that's going out on the internet. I follow the reports and listen to the scanner, so I know who to pray for, but I don't go looking at all the devastation. A lot of looky-loos are driving through these canyons and blocking resources, and I just got a warning when you look at stuff like that. That's where your mindset is too. But it's okay to observe it, to respect what's going on there, and pray for the people involved, first responders, victims, everybody that's involved there. Okay, and hold on, because this heat patch is still there. It hasn't moved. So this could continue for a while. And once the winds die down, that will help them get a handle on it. But we still have pressure in the area, and we could possibly see an earthquake, mid-range, something 4 or 5 in the area too, okay? I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I just want you guys to understand and see what's going on here. So usually when you have the truth, you feel a little more prepared. You're not so scared. Also, this region's still glowing around here, so we could see earthquake activity along the. Yeah, I know most people can't sleep. Hi, OBZURE. So that's kind of why I did this. I wanted to bring a little warning for this region too, as far as earthquake activity along the Juan de Fuca. Watch out for earthquake activity down here, continued fire activity. Everybody, as soon as these winds die down, you know, get ready or, start helping out or whatever you need to do. You feel that you're led to do. Prayers are the best. Okay, the city of angels. Right there, maybe the city of fallen angels right now, but we got to pray for all the people in that area. Okay. Anything else, Lord, we're going to talk about? Most of the solar activity we can do another night. I don't really want to get too detailed into that, but just one more time with your winds. Hit the winds really quick so you can see why the winds are doing what they're doing here in Southern California. We have this big, huge heat plume, cold plume rotating out here. It's drawing air down the coast and out and up. Well, that draw is also pulling air from southern Nevada across the southern part of the Sierras right into the area right there. So your high-speed winds with your heat plume, SO2 emission site, and bingo, that's a recipe for disaster. We were talking about this last night, and I'm praying for this area. Okay, everybody keep your prayers up. Just wanted to thank you for taking a moment to be part of this family. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, OBZRV, Marcia. Somebody got a wrench in here. Who was it? Somebody. Anubian Arkira. Thank you. Misty will get you a wrench too. I thought you were supposed to get one. Yeah, we'll get you one. Don Baker, thanks for making it tonight. You got a wrench. All right, cool. All right, I know there's a lot of coverage still going on, so I'll let you guys go so you can get to that or get to sleep or get to work or get to praying. Me, I'm a guy, sometimes I like to get on my knees and pray because, well, it just feels good. And I know that when you're on your knees praying, the reason why you do it on your knees, because that shows you mean business. On my knees with a sincere prayer, man, it gets heard. Okay. And we can't pray the fire away, but we can pray for their strength. Give them strength, peace, hope, courage in this time of adversity. Just like we do our own salvage work, we got to do for these people in this region, okay? And I just wanted you guys to understand why this is going on. You can see our structure right here. We were talking about this area last night, and sure enough, instead of earthquakes, we got fires instead. So we'll cover all more solar stuff another night, and we'll do a spiritual report another night or whatever. I just kind of popped on here late. I wasn't gonna do a report tonight, but then Lord is like, hey, get over here, turn your camera around, point it at this thing, and hit live stream. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there we are. There's your recipe for disaster right there. And pray for those people in that region. There's multiple fires and multiple people getting hurt. Lives changing right now as we speak. So your prayers matter. All right, that's it. I'm going to go for now. I love you all. I miss you all. I will be doing another show here probably tomorrow, maybe even during the daytime, a little different time frame. I'm going to do, I got to get caught up on all kinds of prayers that are going on right now. So, okay, you guys are doing great. Just keep up the salvage work. Keep bringing that light into other people's lives, and especially people in this region. If you know them, they're going to need a little bit of hope and courage. Okay, that's it for tonight. Love you all. I miss you all. Thank you for taking a moment out of your time and out of this situation, because I know some of you are still watching it on the news or whatever. But thank you for taking a moment of your time to be a part of this precious family. Okay, this is indeed the royal family, the precious family. You are the children of God, and your prayers have so much power. Okay, I love you all. I miss you all. I gotta go. I'm so busy right now. I gotta go, you guys. I wish I could talk with you guys all night and comfort you all night, but I got so much going on. I have to get going, all right? So I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm a man of my word. I told you I would be back. I will be back. Love you. Bye.